Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Deep Dive. I am back again with DeFi Dad in our fourth and final video of this series. And today we're going to be talking all about what DeFi is going to look like in the future in our day-to-day lives. And we'll really try to paint a picture for you about how it's going to impact everybody, no matter if you're based in the US or the Western world versus, in Africa or South America, anywhere, wherever in the world you are, we're going to try to imagine what the future of DeFi is going to look like. So thank you, DeFi Dad, for joining me again.
Hey, Diana. Yeah, thanks for having me back. Excited to talk through this today.
Awesome. So I guess like the first question I have is, when we think about the future of DeFi, are we thinking about a future where DeFi has completely replaced CeFi or traditional finance, TradFi, whatever people want to call it? Or is it really going to be more of a scenario where DeFi is going to be working in conjunction with traditional finance together?
Yeah, I think a lot of what we think about today as DeFi it clearly could power the back end of what is the future of finance. So I think it's really easier, I think, for all of us as early users of DeFi to conceive that we will live in a future where DeFi applications or DeFi protocols are replacing the very like inefficient and disconnected backends of like Wall Street and the greater international finance community. But I guess when it comes to like the front end, that's something that like is yet to be seen. I would imagine like we're going to see a lot of competition amongst like the best designers to come up with the most intuitive interfaces. Something like today, like we all look at Zapper. Zapper is a really easy dashboard to be able to access DeFi applications and opportunities. But I think this is something that will become a much more competitive space in the future.
For sure. And another question that I'm kind of curious about is, in the last video, you really talked about this like digital first living. How do you see this, applying to people from all around the world?
Yeah, good question. So one thing that I think many of us think about or have thought about is, where will DeFi, protocols be built? And I think the answer is it shouldn't matter, as long as it can, as long as one can build this and launch it on, a blockchain like Ethereum, everyone should be able to have access to those DeFi applications. And I think when you go back to what we discussed last time about in the future, if we have this more universal, digital first living where you're able to, let's say, jump into VR and work in VR and have a community in what we call VR now, but could all be called the metaverse. It's going to be important then that you're able to use DeFi to transact. It's also going to be important that your new digital identity, it's not going to necessarily mirror what your driver's license or your passport is. There are lots of people already in the DeFi NFT community who have reinvented themselves with a new digital anonymous identity. But that anonymous identity has a track record now of transacting with others, or in some cases, building community or building applications. And so, I think today, CeFi really represents the old world, and DeFi is building for finance in the new world, and that will go hand in hand with digital identity, like we just mentioned, and that ability to basically do whatever you want, whenever you want, with your money.
Yeah, 100%. So just to break that down even further, I think a lot of people think about, well, how am I going to interact with DeFi in my day-to-day life? Like getting paid by work, going out and buying groceries, going shopping, all of the things that people do on a day-to-day basis. Like what will DeFi look like in those regards for people from all over the world? So I think, what that's going to look like for people from the US or the Western world is maybe going to look different from for people that are coming from different parts of the world. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on, how it'll actually look in people's day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I think the reality I can speak to, like living in the United States, is uh, wealthy people generally have what's referred to as like a wealth manager. It basically means you have someone who's willing to take your money and go out and find ways to earn more money with your money, and then they take a cut of that. And you're supposed to be happy that, of course, your money is being productive, your capital's earning interest, let's say, or some sort of return. With DeFi, it sort of levels the playing field. We have today what we call yield aggregators. They are automated strategies for putting someone's money to work, whether it's lending or being a liquidity provider. These are the early days of us just starting to understand these concepts. And so I really believe in the future, anyone in the world is able to deposit any amount of money as long as they have access to the internet, as long as they, again, can, download some free software as what we call like a Web3 wallet. And then they're able to suddenly have exposure to the same assets as someone else. You don't have to be in a certain country to use a digital US dollar, or you don't have to be in a certain country to have access to an asset like Ether. Anyone who can connect to Ethereum, Polygon, BSC, Terra, whatever it is, a universe of different blockchains in the future, you're able to have access to the same opportunities. And so that to me is that's the hopeful future for me. Is I want to look back at life and say, I grew up understanding what limited access to opportunities you would have if you didn't have a certain amount of money. But now, let's say you have some grandparent who lives in the Philippines who wants to put $10 to an index that represents, let's say, the S&P 500 on Ethereum. Like that's an exciting world where it suddenly is enabling everyone to have the same sorts of opportunity, and most importantly, to be able to circumvent governments, authoritarian regimes that otherwise would want to control their money.
100%. Yeah, 100%. That is definitely the aspect of DeFi that is the most inspiring and motivating to me as well. And I can't wait to see all of this play out. And, I think where we're going to be in 10 years is going to be vastly different than where we are today with how we transact financially. And I can't wait to see how all of that plays out. So thank you so much, DeFi Dad, for joining me in the series, for being our influencer of the month for August. I have learned so much about DeFi from you, and everybody definitely go check out DeFi Dad's YouTube channel. That's where he has all the good stuff, and you will learn so much about DeFi there. Thanks again, DeFi Dad. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will chat with you soon.
Thanks, Diana.